Hello!
Today we discover what's happening in high school with Adam Burns.
And we learn all about elevator pitches. I'll say that again. Elevator pitches with Barbara Boldt.
And we have magic from the gorgeous Matthew Stanley.
We're here.
This is Keith Fields.
And this is Lady Sarah.
And thank you for joining us for
a cup of tea. So we've got to start off with a couple of confessions. And the first confession is, well, it's something we haven't done since March.
No, we normally do it on a Saturday night.
Yeah, we nearly did it a couple of months ago.
Yeah, but it all ended prematurely.
But we are definitely going to do it on the 24th of October. We are talking about da-da-da-da-da-da. That was the poster moment. Da, 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 da.
She missed
there it is. The magic soiree. Yes, we're back.
Hurrah, hurrah. We are going to start the magic soiree again on the 24th of October at the Loft in Camp Ticonderoga. Now, we've taken all sorts of precautions and we're only going to have 5 tables, but each of the tables can seat 6 to 8 people. So this is a chance for you to get together with the people you feel closest to, the people you feel comfortable with, and book a table. You must book a table.
It's going to be guaranteed fun. And we have a new format with some new things going on, because obviously we can't do close-up magic with the current restrictions, but we've designed a new type of close-up magic. We're going to make you your own magician at your own table. So magic is still going to be happening on your tables, but it's going to be very exciting. It's good.
Have you written the script yet?
No, I'm still working on that.
Perfect. So do join us. Check out the website, themagicsoiree.com, and you can book tickets there and then. So we look forward to seeing you.
Yes, and confession number 2, I have another problem.
Darling, don't tell everyone. There's a few people watching, you know.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. It's our little game that we play on the show, Say Something in British, where we use a British word and we try and find if our American friends know what it means. Unfortunately, I'm running out of words. You see, we had this pack of cards with loads of words on, and 34 have now gone, and we're down to the last half a dozen. So if you know a British word which you think people don't know in America, please put it in the chat for us.
That's a real problem with our second guest today.
It is.
Yes, because he's a real Anglophile. And he's been to the UK many, many times. And he's an English teacher.
So he must know all about English. So we're going to find out a little bit about what's happening in high school today. Is it in person? Is it virtual? Is it hybrid? What's going on? And how is it affecting the people who matter most? That is, of course, the students. Adam Burns will be here to explain it all.
But our first guest is all about communications. And today we'll be discussing elevator pitches.
Elevator pitches?
Well, actually, I've never come across the term elevator pitch because we don't have elevators in the UK.
No, we have lifts.
So it's a lift pitch.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, we should have saved that word for Say Something in British, shouldn't we?
Great. We're going to talk about elevator pitches, which is going... Anyway, let's have a look at our next guest, shall we? Look how cute she is there.
Oh, bless. I'm assuming that's a baby brother and not just a rather large doll she's got.
Oh, sweetheart. Next picture.
What is that?
Wow, that's a great outfit.
That's an interesting costume.
Yeah, we like that.
Yes. I have no idea what that is, but we will find out.
Please put your hands together for executive communication skill coach.
You need some coaching on your communication skills, I think.
Barbara Boldt.
Barbara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is so much fun.
I'm so sorry. I really messed up the whole title there. I mean, I need to get my words in.
Too many big words in one sentence.
Barbara, can we just take you back quickly to that picture?
Sure.
What was it? Where?
That is probably about 5th grade in Iowa, and I was a new Girl Scout. You can tell I was new because on that sash across my chest, there are no badges yet. So like if you'd seen me a few years later, there'd be little things sewn on there that I'd worked on. But I was a pretty new Girl Scout.
We thought it might have been your Halloween costume or something. We had no idea what it was.
Oh, I had better Halloween costumes than that, Keith.
Are you a Halloween lover?
I'm not extreme, but we had a lot of fun as kids. We always went trick-or-treating. My mother made our costumes. We lived in what we would consider now a very safe area, so we could go out by ourselves, and we had a lot of fun.
Perfect.
Halloween's a lot of fun. We don't really do Halloween in the UK, do we?
Not so much.
You do Guy Fawkes, yeah?
Oh, very good. Oh dear, she's a bit of an Anglophile here as well, which doesn't bode well for the game. It doesn't bode. It's time to select a word. These are the main remaining words. I'm going to run my thumb down the edge. Just shout stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
Okay, we'll go with that one there. And the word we've got is plonk. That's a good word, isn't it? Plonk.
What do you think it means?
It's
Barbara?
not onomatopoeic. It is something.
Oh my gosh, I don't know this one. Plonk. Is it a game?
It's close.
No.
Because there was a game called Kaplunk.
Oh, Kaplunk.
Yeah.
No, it's not a game. It's not a game, but good try. We like it.
Like somebody falling?
No.
Let's skip. Let's move on.
We'll come back to it.
Okay. You're not going to tell me.
Not yet. We'll tell you
Not
later.
yet.
Okay.
We got to get the other guests in first. But Barbara, we loved your LinkedIn profile, and you've got underneath your banner conveying a compelling message, and that to us was just brilliant. We thought, well, what did we think?
Well, it's kind of so much about what we try to do on this show. We're trying to find a compelling story with everyone, so we thought we'd actually ask you what makes a message compelling.
I think what makes a message compelling is some interest and some level of emotion. If you involve people emotionally in a story, they will just be glued to whatever it is you're saying.
Yes.
And I also think there's an element of clarity involved. You need to be very clear about that story so that there's not too much stuff mucking it up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are too many words and the message can't get through.
So is this a skill that we can learn, or because some people, we say they're a born storyteller or a born raconteur and that sort of thing, but
some people are better than others, for sure. Some people have more natural talent. I say that about presentation skills in general, but I do believe that anyone can learn. You can become better, and you can learn. There are techniques. There are things that I teach people about how to be clear and how to be more compelling.
And so for an elevator pitch, I mean, you've got to get to the point, haven't you? How do you do that?
Well, let's back over. What is the purpose of an elevator pitch? Let's just establish that so we know where we're going with it.
The purpose of an elevator pitch is to communicate clearly who you are, what you do, and who you do it for in the space of about 60 seconds. They aren't, I don't think they're used really in elevators very often. However, and it would depend on how tall of a building you're in as to how long you could talk. But a lot of people attend these, I call them BNI type networking groups, where they're given 1 minute to pitch themselves. And that's the type of communication that I specialize in.
In fact, we played a little game with our daughter, and could she say what she did in a minute? And she wasn't bad, actually. I'm not sure we could say what we do in a minute.
Well, that's because we do so much, my love.
Well, part of the key with that is focusing on something. So you don't have to tell people everything that you do in one pitch. You can have a lot of little pitches. I was working with an insurance agent recently, and she has, insurance for boats and insurance for cars and umbrella policies. And she could have a pitch for each one of those, because the more specific your message is, the more memorable and accessible it is to people. So like if you're an insurance agent and you say, I sell insurance to everybody, it means nothing to anyone. So if you're a boat owner, you describe an accident, or you describe something bad that can happen with a boat, and then you tell people about the policy that you carry. So it more specific and very bitty, I guess you could say, which is kind of a British word, but it's that idea that maybe, like, if you're a member of one of these groups, maybe you have 4 pitches, and you alternate them.
Okay.
Right.
So it's about making the pitch relevant to the situation that you're in.
And the audience.
And
you know, if you've got no boat owners in your audience, you don't want to talk about boat insurance. It's kind of like, why go there? So you do think about who's in front of you.
That is a really good tip, actually. Know your audience.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we need to know that.
So do you have another couple of top tips for elevator pitches? We've kind of discussed a couple already.
Well, there is a way of constructing them. So you want to script your pitch. You want to write it down and make sure that you have the language there that is really meaningful and communicates fully what it is you do. Right. And the other thing then is to practice. You should not wing your pitches. No. And I am guilty. I have done it. But blither comes out of your mouth. You know, and sometimes you have no idea what's going to come out.
Yeah.
And you've got this one chance at a 60-second message. You want it to be meaningful and memorable. Yeah. So you script it and practice it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah, we realize even running this show, we need to script things. We need to practice them. Then we need to throw the script away because somebody goes off script.
Well, and you shouldn't read it. You cannot read a pitch. It sounds inauthentic and really dumb. So you have to have it down, but you absolutely have to have it. You have to know what you want to say.
Right.
The other thing one last tip is to always have an ask. Every pitch needs an ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
People expect you to ask for something. Right. So always know what you want to ask.
Well, actually, that is such. I mean, that will actually check, because I've always thought an elevator pitch was more of just a presentation, but you're actually expecting a response, and that's.
So we should definitely do that at the end of the show. We should have an ask.
Buy
tickets for the Magic Soiree.
Yeah.
No, there you go. There's your ask. Well, the other thing is you want the pitch to be the start of a conversation. So you want to intrigue people. And you don't want to tell them everything because then they have nothing to ask you. So you tell them enough that they're curious and they want to know more. That's really the purpose of an elevator pitch.
You know, this in one sense has been longer than an elevator pitch, but already I want to know more about what you're telling us. But unfortunately, I'm looking at the clock here and going, we pretty much run out of time because we've got other guests waiting in the wings. But Barbara, thank you so much for sharing that information. In fact, we had a message from someone I saw pop up that he already has got dollars worth of information from the first couple of minutes of the show.
And he's actually in Tenerife. So that's
right. Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Have a look at the website. Do check it out. And you will learn so much. Barbara, will you come back and join us for the magic at the end with Matt Stanley?
Absolutely. I'm in.
Lovely.
I'm in.
Grab your cup of tea.
Thank you, Barbara. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Wow. And we've got John Boy from the UK. He could come up with some British words. That's always good. Thanks, John Boy. We need some more British words. Not too cheeky now.
No, she's saying good evening and we're saying good afternoon. There must be a time difference. Something crazy is going on.
There must be. I do notice there is another little person in the UK who I might have gone to school with, actually, Ben.
Really?
Yeah, there you go, Amanda. 40 years ago. She says I look fab. Look at that.
I would have to agree.
Okay.
I don't want to sleep on the couch again.
Shut up. Let's get on to the next guest.
Yes, because we're doing something we don't normally do. Our next guest, we're not going to introduce our next guest. And it's not because he doesn't need an introduction. It's because we're going to hand over to the lady who is our daughter and our producer to do the introduction for us. So this is Felicity Fields.
Hi, everybody. So a few years ago, when I was a junior in high school, my English teacher gave us an assignment to write our potential college essays. And the day he returned them back to us, he pulled one out of the stack and he put it on the projector, and I could see that it was mine. And I thought it was just going to be a reminder to spell and grammar check like every English teacher before me had done. But instead, he turned around and said that this was a great story. And I was absolutely floored because no one had ever really told me that before, especially not a teacher. One of the kids in the class pointed out that it still had a ton of spelling mistakes, but the teacher just said, it doesn't matter, it's still a great story. And that was the moment that really inspired me to become a better writer. And in fact, it inspired me so much so that I just had my 1-year anniversary of having a monthly column in an international magazine. So thank you, Mr. Burns.
Nice one, Fizz. That brought a tear to our eye. Get back in there and look after the dog.
I'm filling up. That's our daughter, and as you can tell, our next guest was one of her teachers. And here's a picture of him, slightly younger.
Look at that. How cute does he look there?
Yeah, it's trading cards, you see. It's
trading cards, impressive.
Another American thing we don't have back home. But he grew up. And
there he is by himself. Has he got any friends?
He's an outdoors type of a guy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the wonderful Mr. Adam Burns.
Boy, thank you. I'm getting misty-eyed over here. Geez, thanks, Felicity. I remember that day. I miss teaching that class. I like the class I currently teach, but I miss 11 AP because I don't get that assignment out there anymore. And it was one of my favorite ones, college essays. And I'm not surprised at all that she is published in magazines because it was a great story. That's all that matters. That's what editors are for, to fix all those other things, right?
Absolutely.
Look,
absolutely.
We're like, it takes a village to bring up a kid. And we did really well on that one.
And you were part of the village.
Yeah. Now, look,
Wow.
just back to you. Where were you in that picture?
So I was actually at a place in Denali National Park called the Toklat River. You can see there's not much of a river there.
No.
I was there at the right time of year because depending on the time, the glaciers, mountain streams are rushing in through there.
That's
Alaska? Alaska,
Yeah.
right. Could see Mount McKinley, or Denali it's called now, highest point in North America. And I've been further away from home, but I feel like that's the furthest I felt away from home is what you're just out there in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful nowhere. But
you're not in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Where are you currently?
So I am coming to you from the Athens TV studio at Troy Athens High School. This is my classroom where I've been coming in this year. It's a little empty now, but we're excited to have kids coming back in some capacity within the next 2 weeks.
Perfect. So before we get on to that, a couple of things we have to get out of the way. Firstly, I'm going to give you the Anglophile test. And then we're going to say something in British.
She's brought it up already.
The Anglophile test is this. When I say the word football, what shaped ball do you think of?
I think of a round ball with white and black spots on it.
Yes. I knew you'd say that. And,
now, I'll just drop in that Man U are not doing well. We'll just leave it at that, shall we?
And that
16?
makes everyone in the entire world happy, I would think.
Number 16 in the league? That's not good, is it?
I would say I was very pleased with how Liverpool are doing, but then they lost 7-2 to Aston Villa on Sunday. So I'm just going to quiet down about that.
Yeah, made my nieces and nephews very happy because they're all big
Aston Villa
supporters. Fantastic.
Okay, so come on, say something in British.
Say something in British. Yes, today's word is plonk. Do you have any idea what plonk is?
It sounds like something I would set down. I detect the onomatopoeia in it. So something I plop down somewhere.
Yes.
Look at you with your onomatopoeias. You
There.
Ellie's an English teacher, can't you?
Yeah. Can you spell it, though? That's the question, Mr. Burns.
Let's not
Plonk?
No.
I was going to say plonk would be perfect because, all right, onomatopoeia. ONOMATEPOEIA.
Well, everyone's dyslexic in this house, so we wouldn't have a way of knowing if it was right or you could have said any letters in any order, really.
Excellent.
It would make a big difference to us.
Let's get to high school. Come on, how is it?
What's happening?
What's happening?
So we are currently still in remote learning, and we are in our high schools in remote learning for 2 more weeks. They started bringing the youngest kids back, K1, and this week. Yesterday was their first day, and I guess my daughter goes to the preschool. She also went back for her first day. Next week, I believe they're finishing off all of the elementary school, and then 9th and 6th grade will also go back. And then the following week, everyone is coming back.
So it's all changed. How are the kids coping with it, with the online stuff at the moment? How are you?
Honestly, the kids are handling it, I think, better than the adults. We forget how resilient they are. It's hard at the beginning when we're getting used to it, but I think a lot of them have grown used to it. And I mean, 60% of them have chosen to remain in virtual learning, even once we start returning.
Right.
But it's hard to tell. If anyone has had a Zoom conference with someone, I didn't realize how reliant we are on body language or non-visual cues in our communication. And there's been so many times like, oh my God, I'm boring you guys out of your mind. I apologize. Like, no, this is great. Like, you certainly fooled me because you look like death. It's the Zoom look of death is what I call it. Yeah. But I think we all kind of have it. But you know, they're just resilient, and I think better than the spring is that they've been required to be here, so they have to come in. We still have that community, which I think was really lacking in the spring.
Yeah.
And then it was really a great thing when they were allowed to play sports, band, just have their clubs back, because that still gives them their outlet. And I think that was really hard for them to take in the spring.
So Adam, just tell us, if you were going to give one piece of advice to parents, and as you are a parent as well, but just one tidbit, what would you say?
For like remote learning?
Yeah. How do you think? What do you think?
How can parents support their children through this?
Well, I think that's just it right there. Support them, and don't forget that it's okay to struggle a little bit. Like, they can figure things out on their own. I haven't had, at least that I can detect, parents lingering over and hovering and trying to help out. But I have younger kids at home, and I see how much help they would need.
Yeah.
And we want to help them. When you're there, you want to do this for them, but we forget if they were in school, they would be having to struggle a little bit on their own, and that's totally fine. And the other one would just be to trust the teacher. And I think almost universally, everyone has been very positive about it. They might not like being remote, but they're still supportive of the teachers. I think people get how challenging this can be.
Yeah.
And that's just very helpful, because no one is happy with it. No one's satisfied about putting in 150% of the work to get like 25% of the usual payout. So just knowing that you're there and supporting. Again, I understand that it's not everyone's preferred learning format, but just knowing that we're kind of all in this together. Helpful.
So, Mr. Burns, let's just quickly move forward to your class, because we're quite excited. We're going to, you've got a writing for broadcast class.
Which is
worst named class ever, but yes, that is the name of the class.
Yeah. No, but that's fine, because we should have done the class. And you're doing filming, you're doing editing, and we've got a little bit of a competition, haven't we? We're hoping to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about it? I mean, so the idea is that your kids will do a minute's worth of videoing.
A 60-second film.
To talk about what it's like being a high schooler at this time.
Yeah.
I love it because you put the time limit on it. Usually when people ask for a video, they're like, oh, just, like a 5 to 7 minute video. I'm like, oh, okay. Do you realize what you're asking for? No, you must not. But 60 seconds is a great time frame to work within, and I'm excited. I might even extend it to some of our middle school classrooms so we can get a little more variety. And because that's the challenge. Like, we've been able to talk to a lot of professionals with our Zoom meetings, and they're all producing remotely now. So the challenge is how do we get up to speed in producing remotely? It's just something we got to get used to.
Well, the challenge is out there.
That's the challenge. A 60-second film telling us what it's like to be a student in high school.
And we'll show them here on the show, and who knows?
Well, not all of them, because there might be 100. We'll show the best 3. How about that? We'll bring you back, and if you could let us have the class can choose the best 3, and we'll show the best 3 on a cup of tea.
There may be a prize.
Oh yeah, we can find a prize.
We can find a prize.
I'm not sure what, but we'll find something. We'll find something.
Perfect, Mr. Burns. Perfect. Now, will you hang around for some magic?
Absolutely. I thought that's why I was here in the first place, but it was very nice to talk to you. But I'm ready for some magic.
Okay, we're going to bring back Barbara, and we're going to tell you, hey, Barbara, good to see you. We're going to tell you about our magician. He is a very dear friend of ours. We go to a convention every year in Colon, Michigan with this guy. And he's all the way in Ohio. Please put your hands together for Mr. Matthew Stanley.
Whoa!
Perfect, Matt. Oh, no, I love it. Matthew,
oh, hey.
For some magic. Are we ready for some magic?
All right. Yeah. You ready for just go into it? Here we go.
Yeah, take it away.
All right. Awesome. Well, here's something that kind of has a little bit of a message here. Something that a lot of us don't think about. We're using the hand sanitizer. We're washing our hands a lot more during all of the COVID stuff. But the cell phone, that's the thing that we have this in our hands all the time. We might, some people take them into the bathroom, that kind of thing, right? There's a little bit of a delay, but we have the show going live here. So what's going to happen? I actually have a little bit of sanitizer here, and we'll just spritz it on the phone. I'll show you how. Not only is it important to clean the outside of the phone, when you're cleaning, you got to clean the outside. But what's really important that a lot of people neglect to do is you need to clean the inside of your phone, and see if you can clean the inside of the phone just like that. See, that's how you do it. Now we got the weather in Dayton on there, but let me go back so I'm live on the show. We need the viewers here. There we go. We're back.
Right. Oh, that was weird.
That's how you sanitize the inside of the phone. So that's a fun one. And let's see. The other thing I have to show you here. This is kind of cool. You mentioned that we go to the convention in Colon every year, but we also go to one in Las Vegas, and we didn't get to go to either one this year. Of course, they were canceled. But I don't know if you remember this. A couple years ago when we were in Vegas, I was sitting down at the card table, and you guys you passed behind me. And I'm going to switch over here to a camera so you guys can see my tabletop here. And we got to give permission. We'll allow that. All right, there we go. So these are my hands. This is real time here. Well, this part's delayed, but we are live here. So I was, something that's a problem in Las Vegas, and they actually are really good at detecting this. Is they deal with card cheats a lot, and you don't want to do that. Now, the different ways of cheating at cards, they vary a lot. Now, one of the common things that would be done would be something that's called daub. So a woman, she'd be wearing some lipstick or something. She'd get a little bit on her fingertip. She'd rub it on the back of the cards, and if she did that, then it would actually mark the card. Now, that's very subtle, but you might be able to see the difference there. It has a little bit of a pink to it. Yeah, you can kind of tell. Now, that's really subtle. So that's a really subtle marking. That would be really good. If you were in a game. Now, sometimes you might not be able to see that. So another thing that you might want to do would be something called blue hue. So you'd have your cocktail there, and you might rub your thumb on it, get a little moisture, and then rub it on your blue jeans, and then you bring that back and you rub that on the cards. And when you do that, you get a little bit of that blue hue on the cards. Yeah, that's so you can tell. So if you did that to say the Ace of Hearts there, you would know that Ace of Hearts is there when it comes up. Now, sometimes you're playing these games in dark locations. These casinos, they can be dark. So you might need something that you can feel. So in that case, you might want to use what's called a nail nick. So you would take and you would nick the corner of the card, and it's real subtle. But when that card comes up, you can always tell that it's missing that corner there, and you would know that's the Ace of Clubs if that ever happened to you. Now that, of course, I told you I was sitting down at the table. Being a magician, they watch me very closely, so I can't cheat even if I want to. So that leaves us one card remaining, the Ace of Spades. Now, this one we used our daub. This one we used our blue hue. This one we used our nail nick. But the only way to truly tell that a card is definitely not marked is actually on the back. It says it definitely not marked. And that is how you can tell if people are cheating in Las Vegas. There you go.
Wow,
Matthew Stanley.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, that was great. That was too many things happening there to keep track. That was just.
There was a corner missing. I didn't get the go. Blimey, Matthew.
Great stuff, as always. Matthew, have you got any idea what the word plonk means?
Plonk. I was listening to the other reactions. I agree. It does sound like a falling or something, but I'm going to go out on a limb. Does it mean that you're drunk or something like that, or maybe sick?
Oh, you're getting close. You're getting close.
So close. Should we tell them?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
It is a cheap bottle of wine. It is a wine. It's cheap plonk. So it's
a bottle of plonk. It's usually something which you don't mind drinking it, but it's not good.
It's not good. Definitely give it to somebody else.
Yeah. Hangover material then, huh?
Good cooking wine.
Okay.
Cook with it. So Matthew, just before we go there, have you got a good a positive thought? Because we like to end the show on a positive thought.
I would like to say that with everything that's going on, in the words of the great Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other.
Nice.
And the next film's coming out.
It just came out. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but
definitely before my time.
Obviously. Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns, something thoughtful for those high schoolers.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Matt's, I've just been kind of blown away since all the shutdown of how far you can get with gratitude and just how kind people are being. I know, like, if you pay attention to social media or just the media, it seems like everyone is at each other's throats. But I think I've never seen such kindness of strangers, whether I'm at the store or at a restaurant, just bumping into someone somewhere. And that's something I've really been trying to emphasize to my students this time around, because we're always trying to find people to interview, and they're a little afraid of that. But I keep telling them, you know, most people, if you're interested in what they're interested in, I think you're going to find are going to help you. And so far that has been true. So hopefully that will keep carrying on. But just be thankful and be nice to each other, and it'll get you a long way.
Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And Barbara, while we're working on our elevator pitch, tell us your thought.
How to stay positive. Well, Adam stole mine a little bit, but I would just say count your blessings. Focus on the blessings and the good things, because it's really easy to get sucked into all of the stress and chaos right now. But we've all got so much to be grateful for, and so many things to be thankful for. So that would be my message.
We have, and we have something to be grateful for, and that is the three of you for giving up your time graciously and coming on this show. So thank you so much for being with us today.
And a huge thank you for all those out there in the UK and all over watching. It's great to see you. So,
Master Matthew Stanley, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having me back.
Adam Burns.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, our children wouldn't be the same without you. And Barbara, so many people have obviously gained from you today from some of the comments we've already seen on the show. So all it remains for us to do is say cheerio.